if you remove these opportunities from women and even from trans girls and women, you are removing an opportunity for them to have high levels of success. Hi, I'm Caitlin.
Hi, I'm Alex.
And this is Raising the Game, a women's sports podcast covering primetime performers, the business behind the athletes in the leagues, and what the growth of women's sports means for the next generation of women's athletes.
We're here, episode 30. We made it. We're here.
To 30.
We're going to keep going.
Long way to go.
Yeah, we're going to keep going. I think we're going to cover a lot tonight. We have the WNBA All-Star Weekend just happened. So we got a lot to cover there. A little bit messy at times.
Lots of fun, though.
It was fun.
Lots of fun.
We have the NWSL and some WAFCOM stuff going on in the soccer world.
Yes, some WAFCON is the Women's African Federation Conference, or football conference, I should say, excuse me. And they're playing in their, basically continental tournament. And it has World Cup qualifying implications that we need to discuss.
We do. Do we want to dig right into favorite thing? Or I suppose we should say, make sure to follow us on Spotify, YouTube, subscribe on YouTube. I guess that's not a follow, but it's a subscribe. Instagram, Threads. We're not really active on Threads, but give us a follow there too. RTG_pod on Instagram and Threads and YouTube.
Yeah.
I think that's all of them.
Share us with your friends. Favorite thing?
I think it was during the All-Star Game, the girls immediately were like, who are we cheering for? Which side is us? And we're like, well, that's difficult.
Yes.
Because there are multiple teams, there are multiple people on each team that we like.
They were mostly concerned with where Olivia Miles was playing, because she is their favorite.
Yes.
But then we had to explain that Liv and Court were on one team being coached by Big Cheryl.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then Natasha Howard was on the other team, and they just were confused.
Yeah. I think we lost them there.
They didn't understand All-Star Weekend, which is fair. I think many people may have left being like, I don't understand.
Yeah. Well,
this.
My dad was like, is this East versus what? Like,
he was so confused. Explain all the rules, which was good.
Yeah.
Good. Open some minds to the W. Mine is, my favorite thing from last week is not sports related, but it is my favorite thing. So I have the pleasure at my place of work. Each year we host this really lovely evening where a bunch of my coworkers get up and share really personal, vulnerable stories about their lives. And it's a really amazing moment of connection. And I think kind of understanding across people and hearing from people that maybe you wouldn't have heard of otherwise. And it really encouraged this year in particular, just really encouraged this theme of getting curious about other people, understanding that folks are going through things that you have no idea that they're dealing with, and to give grace, to open up, to really kind of step in and see how you can help if you can, even if that just means sitting alongside them, right? That burdens are lighter carried with others.
Yeah.
And it was just a really special message. And I think one that is so important.
Yeah.
Specifically in this moment in time. And I think we talk about a lot of tension in the leagues that we follow and things like that too. And it was a good reminder of let's take a step back, right? Really hear people out, and things like that. And that inclusion always matters.
Yeah, it does.
So
absolutely.
Yes. So that was my favorite thing. I'm already looking forward to my favorite thing for this week, which we'll talk about in a little bit.
Yeah.
So let's get into headlines.
Let's do it. The WNBA All-Star Game hosts 19,783 fans at United Center, making it the most attended WNBA All-Star Game ever.
So, fun fact, this All-Star Game for the WNBA drew almost more than 4,000 fans than the 2026 MNBA All-Star Game.
Yeah, I saw that. That's amazing.
Pretty cool. They got a show.
Yeah.
That's all I'll say for now.
WNBA announces it will have a centralized replay center to support officials beginning in 2027.
We mentioned a few weeks ago that I think there was some complaint or feedback that there wasn't enough investment going towards the officiating problem. So this was cool to see. There were a lot of random like news announcements around the W that came out this weekend around, I mean, there's a lot of press conferences and panels and whatnot. So love seeing this. The NBA already uses this. It sounds like they're going to be using their technology. So hopefully that helps.
I hope it does. The NWSL is significantly expanding its viewership. New data from the first half of the season indicates views across YouTube channels increased 41.7%, reaching 11.2 million viewers.
Yeah, overall watch time climbed 50% and subscribers grew, this is all on YouTube, by 17.9%. So big momentum, shows that people are tuning in, are really interested. I am very curious to see if there's any change or bump to these numbers post World Cup, right? Because they did so much of a marketing push around the World Cup. For in real life events, though, the league reached 1 million attendees faster than any season prior.
There you go.
Portland Thorns just last weekend, which is one of the best attended stadiums, had their best attendance of the season and since 2024 with 21,743 fans. And the league right now is on pace to average 10,000 plus fans per game for the 4th season in a row.
That's great. Jordan Huitema and Trinity Armstrong to miss remainder of 2026 season with torn ACLs.
Yeah, so Huitema of the Chicago Red Stars and Trinity Armstrong of the San Diego Wave, I believe. Really sad to see. I was telling Alex before we started recording, Trinity Armstrong had just come back from her other knee tearing her other ACL. She was 2 games back from that recovery and And then also Emily Sonnet hasn't been reported yet what she suffered from, but she went down 7 minutes into Gotham's game against Portland, got stretchered off with holding her left knee when she went down. So we've talked here before about the research that needs to go into the kind of endemic ACL tears for women, and absolutely it's heartbreaking that it happens as often as it does.
The Denver Summit announced last week its new permanent 14,500 seat home in Santa Fe Yards will not open at the start of the 2028 season as originally planned.
So I think for me, at least, that headline got my attention. I was like, oh no, they're not going to open till 2029. And it's no, cool your jets. They are still hoping to play some games there in 2028. It'll be more towards the latter, back half of the season. The delays apparently have come from actually acquiring the land that they want to build this on. Okay. I didn't read too much detail into that, but that's sort of what slowed this process down for the summit.
Gotham FC head coach Juan Carlos Amoros takes paternity leave, will step away for 5 weeks following the birth of his second child.
Yeah, so Amoros said, quote, "When fathers take paternity leave, particularly men in leadership positions, it helps normalize an important principle. Caring for children is a shared responsibility." What a novel idea.
Yeah.
We love to see it. We love to see men using their platform, right, to advocate for their families, being a dad, right? Being a dad, not assuming that is the burden of the wife or the mom to bear.
Exactly.
So.
Brazil announces discounted tickets for the 2027 Women's World Cup for students, people age 60 plus, low income young people, and people with disabilities.
This timing of this is really interesting coming off of the Men's World Cup where there was a lot of complaints about the ticket prices. The deal here will be these folks or populations will be eligible for 50% off of specific tickets, right? So selected tickets. FIFA still gets to control the standard ticket price, and which kind of the quantity of tickets that will be offered. But I think a step in the right direction of a federation stepping in and saying, we want this accessible to our fans.
Yeah, absolutely. Nafisa Collier makes her season debut just before All-Star Weekend, dropping 24 points and picking up 10 rebounds in a Lynx win over the Seattle Storm.
This was second place for my favorite thing. The only reason it didn't make first is because I didn't get to watch it because it was at 2 p.m. on Wednesday.
Yep.
I was following the box score ticker tracker on the Lynx app, being like, "How's Fee doing?" And it did look at first I
think she was 1 for 7 to start.
Rusty. Yeah. But then game kicked in, so super excited that my prediction last week was wrong and that she came back before All-Star Weekend. Cannot wait to see her on the court tomorrow night.
AUSL Championship was broadcast for the first time on network TV, making it the first pro softball game to be on ABC Network.
Yeah, super cool.
LPGA set to debut a tournament on Hawaii's Big Island next tour season. Will include a $4 million purse with dual pro and college format.
Also huge. I think you just keep seeing the LPGA expand where they're playing, the purses they're offering, inclusion of the different tiers and kind of levels of play and stuff like that. It's awesome.
Wrexham Women's Football Club named Minnesota Aurora's Sarah Hassoun as general manager.
So she served as the Aurora's president last season. And then prior to that, she actually was the chief of staff at Gotham FC for 2 years. Yeah. So super cool to see her get that opportunity. We will miss her here as Aurora fans.
Unrivaled announces it's exploring expansion for season 3.
Yeah, so they teased they had some events around All-Star Weekend and talked about opening up the season. Miami will continue to be their home base, but potentially having up to 9 road stops throughout the season, which to me, I was like, that's almost the whole season.
It's not that.
I don't know.
Not that many games.
Maybe it was 9 games. We'll see. But looking at places like San Francisco, Denver, Colorado, LA, of course. So we'd love to have you here.
We would. Something that's not on here. The Minnesota Vixen bring a title,
a
football title to Minnesota.
I'm so sorry, Vixen.
Beating the Pittsburgh Passion 42-14, I believe it was.
They stomped them.
It was on ESPN too. It was.
We were watching.
It was great.
We were watching over the weekend.
First football championship in Minneapolis since 1960 something. So
go Vixen.
We're back.
Go Vixen. All right. That's it for headlines this week. We are going to get into our league updates here. A little bit about WNBA and NWSL. But before we get into that, Alex and I want to talk about something that we think is really important. There's been some more headlines in the news about this particular issue as it relates to women's sports lately, and we want to share our thoughts. So a couple weeks ago, there was a report released by the right-wing think tank, the Heritage Foundation. And the title of this report caught our eye because the title read, Title IX's Failed Experiment, Why Accommodating Sex Differences Beats Engineered Parity. And so immediately it was like, okay, I don't know about that, right? We, as you probably have guessed, if you've listened to any of our episodes, are big advocates of Title IX and all the doors that has opened to women in sports. And it just sort of started to set off some alarm bells. So we went and did some digging. I think we kind of have mentioned this in the past, but essentially Title IX took girls' participation in sports from, 300,000 to 3.4
tenfold
million since it's been
30, 40 years.
Instated. And I think even in that first 20 years, it was exponential growth, right? And participation in sports is so important. There's so much data, and we're going to talk a little bit about what kind of future success in business kind of ladders back to participation in sport through high school at least, and for sure into college. It's something that I know interviewers and recruiters actually will look for that kind of experience, both for men and women, right? But you learn a certain set of skills being in an environment like that. Discipline, teamwork, right? Yes, leadership, conflict resolution, collaboration, all the things that have to happen in a workplace have to happen on a field in order for you to be successful, right? So if we go and look at this report, we're not going to go too deep into the report, but we wanted to share a few things from it. The TLDR on the report is basically Title IX is bad.
Yep.
It is hurting men.
Yep.
And it is making women less docile and harming fertility. That's kind of like the short version. If you really want to go read it yourself, you can. You will read things that, depending on how you feel about women, you probably will be upset by.
Yeah.
One of the quotes that I found particularly upsetting or disturbing to me was, quote, promoting assertive athletics formed a core element of a broader project to remake female character itself, producing a new woman who would be more aggressive, assertive, dominant, and less deferential, less graceful, and less oriented toward motherhood and traditional feminine graces. That one was hard to read. There's a lot of talk in the report about expanding male opportunities and restoring a more humane social order. These are quotes from the report.
I don't know where I've ever felt that I've needed my opportunities expanded.
Yeah.
As a man.
Yes. So all of that to say, right, this report came out and you kind of start to pull it apart and you start to realize, like, the point of it is, hey, can we repeal or change Title IX?
Yeah.
Right. And what's interesting is there actually has been recent legislation that is seeking to slowly erode Title IX, as legislation often is wont to do. So we started to look into that. And of course, that is primarily targeting trans youth.
Yes. Yep.
Which is also very upsetting. And we're going to talk about that as well. So last January in 2025, there was legislation passed in the House. It's called the Protection of Women and Girls in Sports Act, HR 28. And from Section 9 of that bill, it would seek to amend Title IX to say that Title IX would require that girls only who are born biologically female are allowed to participate in girls' sports. So it would ban trans girls and women from competing in girls and women's sports at any federally funded schools, or any schools that receive federal funding, I should say.
And how would they enforce this? Or do we want to wait to get into that?
So I think so within the legislation itself, there are no boundaries or stipulations on how you determine this. What inevitably will happen without very clear boundaries on how that is determined is you are leaving it up to these schools or whomever to figure out how to do this themselves. And that is a very slippery slope that is going to lead to, and has been called out, I think rightly so, that
sexual abuse.
Well, it's going to lead to examining young girls to verify their sex. That's invasive.
Yep.
It's an invasion of privacy. It is not appropriate.
No, not at all.
And what's going to happen is girls, whether they are trans or not, are going to be targeted for how they look or how they perform, right? Because some of the thinking behind this is that a trans girl or trans woman is going to automatically outperform a cis girl or woman because they have higher testosterone and they were born a man. So not only are we discriminating against trans girls and women, but we're also discriminating against cis girls and women who may have higher testosterone levels, who may look more muscular. This is inevitably and disproportionately going to affect women of color, like Black women, like are going to get targeted for this.
Well, I mean, hitting off of that, can we go off the first quote from the report? Can I read that? Because that perfectly proves your point, I think.
Yeah.
The initial quote, the opening quote here is, in 2024, a Tunisian man defeated a Chinese woman for the Olympic women's boxing gold medal, which is completely false. The Tunisian boxer who won this match is a woman. She is not transgender. She has a disorder where she has a higher amount of testosterone. And so this is exactly the type of thing that you just called out.
Yeah. So again, targeting of girls and women, right, who are biologically female, as well as excluding those kids or people who don't feel comfortable in the body that they were born in. The other thing with this piece of legislation from January is that it really opens the door for people, often men, in positions of power, whether they be doctors, trainers, coaches, to, like I said before, potentially violate privacy, right? And we have proof that happens.
Yeah,
right?
we do.
Larry Nassar, ring bells for anybody. If you're listening, he was found guilty of, I don't even know how many counts of sexual abuse of the U.S. women's gymnastics team and at Michigan State, I think it was. Again, person who's supposed to be trusted, somebody who these young girls were supposed to be able to go to when they had something that was bothering them physically that prevented them from competing or practicing, and he abused that power. And there are more than just one Larry Nassar.
We'll get to that.
So in addition to this proposal that was passed last year, there was also a federal ban upheld by the Supreme Court just in June of this year. So basically the Supreme Court ruled that they're going to punt it back to the states. And if states have bans against trans girls and women in sport, then they can do that, right? Which is, I'm sure, heartbreaking for the trans community and for people who just believe that inclusion is important. And then very recently, pulling us to just last couple weeks, I should say, Sophie Cunningham of the Indiana Fever repeats some talking points that we hear often around trans girls and women being involved in sports, positioning kind of her stance as a women's sports advocate as a reason to exclude this group of people. In an interview with ESPN's Hallie Grossman, she said, quote, "I got a lot of negative feedback about me hating trans." And I'm like, I never once said that. I think I'm here to extend love. But I also think that with love is truth, being honest. And I want to protect young girls in locker rooms or young girls in sport who shouldn't have to go against biological men. She has since doubled down on these comments. And we're going to go into the next part of this is talking about like protect them from who.
Yeah.
But I do want to point out that to me, it's very disturbing the placement of I want to protect young girls from men in relation to trans girls and women. That is a mischaracterization. It's also meant to instill fear.
Yeah.
And if we want to talk about protecting young girls from men, we should be talking about protecting them from
coaches,
the people who are in positions of power.
Yeah.
So I know you're going to, I just want to like, as we move forward, they keep kind of the right wing, the Heritage Foundation, whoever you want to say it, keeps kind of pointing to like protecting young girls. And our question is protect them from who?
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's interesting because it's like, it's very easy for the very quick connection of, well, yeah, I don't want, like anyone who's not thinking too critically will say, yeah, I don't want a man inside the women's locker room, but they're not thinking about like the whole of it, which I think we'll get into in the stats here. And so I pulled out the data the best I could on the actual amount of trans athletes in high school and college sports. So total athletes, non-trans athletes, just total athletes in high school. This comes from the NFHS 24-25 survey. There was 8,266,244 total athletes. There is no survey or count of high school trans athletes. The estimates that they have, the estimates they have are in the anywhere from the low single digits to maybe the low hundreds. So even at the low hundreds, you're looking at 0.005% are trans athletes. Mm-hmm. Moving on to college, there's approximately 510,000 college athletes. And according to testimony from the president of the NCAA in 2023, he said there were fewer than 10 trans athletes, which is 0.002% or 1 in 51,000.
So our point first in this is the number of athletes who we're talking about protecting the young girls from is very much few and far between. Yes. I would also argue that, and we'll get into this, but these kids get bullied and stigmatized enough. Yeah. They are not going to go around causing trouble.
Yeah. Yeah.
They just want to participate in a way that makes them feel good about themselves.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
So when we talk about this, I think it gets like blown out of proportion that like there are trans athletes everywhere.
There's thousands of them just being trans in order to win or to take advantage of women in women's locker rooms. That's not the case here.
Let's talk about who does take advantage of women in women's locker rooms.
All right. So this is from Safe Sport, which their data is on U.S. Olympic or Paralympic athletes, which is any Team USA swimming club, soccer club, any of those youth clubs.
All of the foundations or whatever that funnel in.
And so there are 11 million plus athletes. Last year, there were 9,683 allegations of misconduct by coaches in 2025 alone, or 186 per week. Now that's everything. That's criminal, physical, sexual, betting. Like it's a whole bunch of things, but it's that many.
186 per week.
Per week. That's already in 1 week. You're already having more allegations of abuse in some way than there are likely trans athletes in high school and college sports.
Yeah. And we've talked at length about the abuse scandal in like the NWSL, right? That was like a whole dark era for that league that they had to navigate through, where multiple clubs with head coaches, owners, things like that are literally not only abusing the athletes, but then asking for their silence afterwards. Yeah. And that's also horrible.
Another stat here from Safe Sport. 31% of female elite or club athletes reported sexual abuse before age 18, with 41% of them saying it came from coaches or team personnel.
Yeah.
Yep.
So protect them from who, right, was our question.
Yeah.
And I think the last thing that I want to talk about in this section is the bullying and the discrimination and the stigma that people who are part of the trans community experience, right? If we just kind of take it back and think all LGBTQ plus folks, 36 to 39% of the youth who identify as part of that community, the broader LGBTQ community, seriously considered suicide each year. 36 to 39% of those kids consider suicide, consider ending their lives. 10% actually attempt. That's 1 in 10 insane. Kids. So like think of your child's classroom right now and how many kids are in that classroom. And know that of the kids in that classroom who come to identify as one of these groups, like they have a 1 in 10 chance of attempting to kill themselves because of the bullying. Now you want to talk about specifically the trans community. 46%, almost half of that community considers it.
Yeah.
Because of the bullying.
Yeah.
So when we're talking about language that demonizes a group of people, this is the result of that.
Yeah.
The result is you're not protecting kids.
Yeah.
You are putting kids in a position where they feel like their only option is to not be here anymore.
Yeah. And these are people who just want to feel
accepted,
normal in their body and accepted for who they are. And a lot of, like we said, kids, these are kids that just want to be accepted.
Right. So if it's not clear, as a parent, if you want to protect kids, if we want to protect kids.
Yeah.
One, no, you do not get to inspect my daughter's body to see if she is a girl or a boy or whatever. Yeah. That is not okay. That's a huge privacy violation. I never understand why that seems like an okay thing to do.
Yeah.
It seems very odd coming from a group of people who espouse to a bunch of like my rights, my whatever, right? Yep. And I just don't I don't understand how you could be okay with that. Number two, let's prosecute pedophiles.
Yeah.
Let's prosecute abusers. Let's make a space where people who are making accusations feel safe to come forward and that they are not going to be silenced or bullied into not speaking up when they have been abused. And that all goes all the way down to kids. The third one, and this one for me, going back to some of the statistics we just talked about, is just the idea of inclusion. I've coached kids who fall in this group.
Yep.
They just want to be included.
Yeah.
They deserve the same opportunities as every other kid to learn all of those skills.
Yep.
And just because you might not feel comfortable with how they choose to express themselves, that is not a reason to exclude them.
Yeah.
Think of your kid sitting by themselves at lunchtime, at snack time, and they don't have this big cloud hanging over them that these trans kids do.
Yep.
It's devastating.
Yeah. I was going to say the same thing. Like, think of your kid. That is also somebody's kid.
Yeah.
That is a person. Yes. Think about when you were a kid and felt excluded, and to think that it's okay to do it because they are different than you.
Right. And then we've talked a little bit about this, but like sport creates such an opportunity to build community, build leadership skills. We talked about all of the different skills that can apply to work. I mean, it goes without saying, I think we've shared this statistic before, but 94% of women in C-level positions played sport at least a varsity level in high school, and over half of them in college.
Yep.
And so if you remove these opportunities from women and even from trans girls and women, you are removing an opportunity for them to have high levels of success beyond. Whether or not they would go that direction, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You're removing the opportunity.
Yeah.
Right. So wrapping this up, right, I want to bring it back to the Heritage Foundation report and back to another athlete in the women's sports community. This time we're going to talk about Megan Rapinoe, former U.S. women's national team star, long time, very outspoken LGBTQ advocate. She was on The View this week, and she talked about how these attacks and the discrimination against the trans community is a direct line to that Title IX report that the Heritage Foundation put out. She's like, you can draw the line between the two, right? We're going to come after you because you don't look a certain way. You don't look the way I think you should look. Who's deciding that?
Yeah.
Right? Okay, now we're just going to come after all of you, right? How long before we're, pulling back opportunity for the games that we love to watch, that our girls love to watch, the opportunities that we've talked about that our girls will have, because we are okay with starting small and demonizing a small population. And now we're going to expand to a larger group.
Yeah. And and I think it's really interesting because if you demonize the trans community and you have something in place to have to like try to restrict them from playing, it's not just affecting them. And I don't know if you said this towards the beginning, but it immediately affects all women.
Yep.
All women who want to play sports, all women growing up that want to play sports. And it's exactly the type of thing that we see these types of people do is they make it difficult for one group, which makes it difficult for the larger group, which then does exactly what they want this to do. And it lowers that rate of women doing sports, women getting into powerful positions. And it is exactly what they want. They want to.
It's about control.
It's about control. They want to go after this one group. And by extension, it means they get to control this other group.
Yep. Yeah. So we wanted to talk about that. Really important to us as parents.
Yeah.
And really important to us as fans of women's sports. Absolutely. And frankly, fans of women.
Yeah. In general.
We just like women.
Yeah.
Anybody. Right.
Yeah.
And just like, it's heartbreaking, but at the same time, it feels really important to speak up on these kinds of things in particular. Cause like you just said, it goes fast.
Yeah, it does.
Right. So, all right. We are going to move on to talk about some soccer.
Soccer time.
Yes. So let's start off talking about the Women's African Football Conference, or Cup of Nations, I should say. So this is the qualifying tournament for the teams from Africa to get into the World Cup.
Yep.
It's also just like their, big tournament to crown like the Queens of Africa or whatever. So it's on right now. It runs through August 16th. 16 teams from the Confederation of African Football, or CAF is commonly how we refer to it, up from 12 last time they did this tournament. I said what's on the line. There are 4 World Cup spots on the line in this tournament, as well as the 2 intercontinental or interconfederation playoff spots. We're going to clear all this up for you today. Yeah. We felt like we needed a reboot on qualifying. Nigeria are the defending champions. And then Cabo Verde.
Where's that?
After their men's success in the World Cup, their women's team is in for the first time, along with Malawi, which is the home of the great Temwa Schwinga.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Morocco is hosting the tournament for the 3rd time. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
And we just have a little list here of kind of who we're watching. So there are 11 NWSL players playing for 7 different nations.
Yep.
5 of the 11 are on the Washington Spirits roster.
Gosh. They got a scout over there. They're like one of 2 with the scout over there.
We need all of these players from Africa. This is where the talent is for sure. So I mentioned Temwa Schwinga of Malawi, Barbara Banda of Zambia. So the 2 Golden Boot, top of the list for Golden Boot and NWSL. Player that I have loved watching so far this season is Rosamund Kouassi of the Washington Spirit. She's from Ivory Coast or Cote d'Ivoire. And then Gift Monday, also on Washington, plays for that Nigerian team that won last year. So we're kind of one thing that it has been a little bit disappointing is I think it's been hard for fans to watch. Yeah, I
saw that.
This, both obviously the timing here is difficult. But I also think just like the access is not
very
great.
Hard to get to.
So if you're looking to watch, I can't really give you a recommendation on just try whatever you
search.
can.
Maybe they're on YouTube. Get one of those sketchy streams somewhere.
Yeah. Okay. So with that, we are in our kind of final stretch, right? Leading up to the Women's World Cup next year in Brazil. And so we wanted to do a little bit of a gut check on where are we at with qualifiers? What do we have left to do? Who's in, who's not in yet? That, you're kind of like, oop, are you going to get in? So let's go through the qualified teams. You want to take us through this list?
Yeah. So qualified out of the AFC, Australia.
It's the Asian football.
Yes. The People's Republic of China.
Yes. Good job.
Japan, the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, the Korea Republic, 2 different things there.
Yes.
Philippines.
Ignore the number.
And that's that. I can never say this right. CONMEBOL.
Good job.
Has Argentina and Colombia.
And Brazil.
And Brazil, yes.
The hosts automatically qualify. But
OFC has New Zealand.
Yep.
Good for them. UEFA has Denmark, France, Germany, and Spain. Right now, we just talked about CAF, and then CONCACAF will be,
which is the
fall.
US, Mexico, Canada.
Yep.
Right. So there are still, I think, like, let me do my math here quick. 4, 8. There's like 15 additional slots still to fill. 18 actually, because there's 3 that come out of the playoff. So we'll go through the teams that have left to qualify, but it's important to note that each of these conferences, there are 1 or 2 additional teams from them, or confederations, I should call them, that go play in this inter-confederation playoff, which will happen at the end of the year. Right. So the AFC, so Asia, right, will have 2 teams that will go to that. CONMEBOL will have 2 teams. Oceania, which is New Zealand, is their qualifier right now, will have 1. UEFA will have 1. CAF will have 2, and CONCACAF will have 2. And so what will happen is these 10 teams are going to go play in a tournament.
Yep.
Right. And essentially the top 3 teams from that tournament then will be the final qualifiers for the World Cup. So notable teams that have not yet qualified. So from CAF, right, we have 4 slots that are going to get filled from this tournament that's going on right now. So you're looking at like Nigeria, Zambia, Malawi. Senegal has been playing really well lately, right? Will Morocco get in? Who knows? So they're going to fill 4 slots. CONCACAF will happen in the fall. We know that that's kind of happening end of November, early December. That's going to be 4 slots from this group. You'd be looking for the US, Mexico. Will Canada qualify? Are they allowed? Part of me was like, are they even allowed to qualify? Because they had the whole like cheating scandal.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Costa Rica, Jamaica. Jamaica is the home of Khadija Bunny Shaw, who just signed that huge deal with Manchester City. So we'll see what happens there. And then UEFA, you guys, is so complicated. So the 4 teams that have qualified already were the winners of the League A group play. So what they did in UEFA is they take the teams based off of their ranking within UEFA, and they break them into 3 leagues. There's League A, League B, League C. And it's literally like top 16 teams go in League A, the next 16 go in League B, the next 16 go in League C. Okay, then they get broken into 4 pods, right? 4 teams, and then you play like a round robin of home and away games with each person in your pool, and whoever wins the pool in League A automatically qualifies. Okay. Now what's going to happen in the fall is it's like the runners up from League A will go play the winners from League C. Like there's some
I understood
weird,
some of this.
So they have to do like these extra layers. I won't go into all of it. I was trying to understand it earlier today.
I feel like UEFA pulled something over on FIFA and they're like, listen, we've got this great idea.
Look at all this. So there's this playoff phase in October. Notable teams that have yet to qualify that will be looking to qualify in this playoff. England. Last World Cup runners up, right? Sweden, perennial powerhouse, always give the U.S. national team fits, I feel like. Norway, they used to be a pretty strong powerhouse, and ask anybody from the 99ers team about Norway. Italy isn't in yet. There was a Switzerland, I think I saw on the list. The Netherlands, I don't think have qualified yet. So that is going to be high drama and worth a watch. They do play a home and away in the playoff. Right. So you play 2 games. The top ranked team gets the home game on the second leg.
All right.
I don't know why they make it so complicated.
I'm really interested in this 10-team playoff.
That's also going to be cool. Insane. So like, if you think about it, we have all of this like fun stuff in the lead up. So you have CAF right now. We're going to get into the fall. We're going to have this UEFA playoff. Yep. You're going to have CONCACAF going on. And then you're going to turn the corner and get into like, I think it's February or March timeframe. And they have this confederation playoff. So plenty of international football on the women's side to watch.
If the U.S. doesn't make it, I'm going to be chewing my nails all February or whenever that is, because I can't deal with a playoff.
I would be very shocked if they lost to El Salvador in November. But never say never. Yep. I did call out a few weeks ago that,
That's why we play the games.
Okay. I don't think they're losing that game.
No, I don't think so.
I was more meaning I don't know if we should expect them to win the whole World Cup, but also they hadn't qualified. So it's fair point. Okay. So that is a little bit of an update on international. We'll keep kind of sprinkling in, I think, some talk about the World Cup. And we want to make sure that we're appropriately hyping the best sporting event in all of the world. Let's wrap up this section, talk a little bit about NWSL from match week 13. Yeah. What do you got?
I mean, I'm just looking over the standings again.
Yeah.
It's like there's not a lot of separation happening still. Like, it is still wild that 1 through 7 is 10 points apart.
Yeah, I got to be honest. I was looking at it and I was like, we're starting to see separation. And then I looked at it closer and I was like, no, we're not.
No, not really.
So here's what I saw, right? So you've got your top 5, right, are all within 5 points of one another. Yeah. So that's within 2 games. So that's a week's worth of play.
I literally was going to say, well, look at San Diego all the way down at 4. Yeah, 4 points out of first.
Right. And Portland and San Diego have kind of like dipped lately, but they're still right there, right? And then if you look at 6 through 13, that's 8 teams, right? They are within 2 games of each other too. Yeah. That's a week of play, right? Depending on how things fall. And I think we saw from this week to last week, like there are teams that'll be like, I think Bay is a good example. Like last week, I think they were in 11th and now they're in 14th. Like, what happened to you? Louisville got a win over the week against the streaking Angel City FC. I don't know what happened. Somehow, I was commenting to Alex before we got on air. Somehow Louisville has more goals than Chicago has scored all year. Yeah, Chicago, insane. You guys, is still in single digits for goals.
I don't understand. 31 against 2 or something like that?
Yes, their goal differential is minus 23. My gosh. That is not how you win. But I bet, what is their record? Just slightly better. Yeah, it's just slightly better. So anyways, we watched the Washington Spirit play the Denver Summit last night. That was fun. It was like a track meet for the first 15.
Yeah.
And then the teams kind of finally decided to settle in. Sophia Cantore's rip. Can we talk about Trinity Rodman's assist?
Oh, yeah.
The ball she played into her. Oh my God.
It was beautiful.
And Trin had a lot of chances too. She still seems to be quite energetic.
Yeah, for sure.
So always more to watch. We are going to get to go.
Yeah, we are.
Denver Summit game in
a couple weeks.
Just under 2 weeks. Yeah.
They're not coming here.
Out in Centennial. Out in Centennial Park, which is where they'll play until their stadium, as we mentioned before, is done. Yeah. So it's pretty cool.
Moving on to WNBA.
Let's do it. Let's talk All-Star.
About this All-Star weekend. Yeah.
I want to open just with a little bit of like kind of just some marketing things. There was like a ton of fan activation over the week.
I need to know about the second one when you get there because I did not hear about that.
Oh, you missed it?
I missed this.
Okay. Well, we already mentioned record attendance. So many people. I'm sure there were a ton of people who came into Chicago that didn't go to the game, right? Let alone the almost 20,000 that were there. Angel Reese launched her Barbie.
Amazing.
They made her a Barbie and she's known as Bayou Barbie.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing. She had like a little Barbie dream house area that people could come up and meet her. She did Barbie pink for her hair at the All-Star weekend.
This is basically just convention for WNBA.
Yeah, 100%. It's networking, like Liv says. I think her signature shoe with Reebok also got kind of a Barbie colorway.
Mm-hmm.
And I just saw this like really sweet video of her like engaging with all of these young Black girls, right? And these fans who like are so excited to see somebody representing them, right? Who looks like them. And like the WNBA obviously has had a ton of Black superstars, but I think like that connection with the Barbie and like the toy piece is like a little bit extra. And Angel really, say what you will about Angel Reese, but she really feels strongly, or seems to really feel strongly about the impact that she is having on the next generation, right? And who's looking up to her. She does seem to speak pretty like highly of that honor that she has. Yeah. So I love that. And then Nike, this is just another tidbit. There's tons of other stuff. We just couldn't get it all.
Yeah.
Nike dropped 8 new shoes at All-Star Weekend.
Dang.
So you want to talk about a behemoth who is like, I'm going to go do a release of 8 shoes on this weekend because that's how big this weekend is. Yeah, right? Absolutely. It's great to see. So I think Asia got a couple new colorways of her A2s. Sab has her shoes. There were a few others based off of, I think there were some Kobe's. There was like a Sue Bird vintage shoe. So that was cool to see. All right. Remember we talked about how we like didn't know who was going to be in the skills competition or the 3-point contest last week. Well, turns out there was no skills competition. Yeah. It was called
Shooting Stars.
Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, I thought it was pretty interesting. What was it? They had a legend, a current player from each team, and then a high school player.
Past, present, and future.
Yes.
From 4 different cities.
Yep. And they were shooting from, I don't remember, was it 7 total spots on the floor? Layup, then like a mid, all over it, just basically extending out until almost mid court.
I think they had about 1:10 on the clock. And like at the first 6 spots, each player got one chance to shoot. Yeah. Right. And you get points based on makes. Yep. And then once you get to the end, you could shoot as many times as you wanted from the 7 spot, which was like a logo 3 basically. Yep. And so you wanted to get there quick, but like obviously then you want to make the shots leading up to it. So
yeah, that was fun. Washington won that one.
Yeah.
And they
Elena Deladon, Shakira Austin, and God, what was her name?
I didn't get the name.
I saw it on the TV, but that young gal she like won it for them.
Did she hit the?
She made the big shot
3 at the end. Yeah. So they took home $85K, and I believe that was going to a charity. Was that not?
I don't know if all of the winnings were going. I know the game itself, the winnings were going to a charity.
That's right.
But I think that the participants might have gotten some kind of prize money, right? Sure. Okay, so 3-point contest. We had put some like analysis out there of who we thought might participate. We were like half right.
Yeah, we got some of them there.
Take 50-50. I don't even know if we were trying to be right, but like they were included. Yeah. So it ended up being Marina Mabrey, Bridget Carlton, Janelle Salon, Ryan Howard, Natisha Heidemann, and Azzi Fudd.
Yeah.
Right. And I think of this group, I think it was Azzi Fudd was one of the like exclusions, but we said it would make sense to include someone like her or Caitlin Clark, I think was left off that list because of the marketability. Yeah. Right. Also interesting, speaking of Clark and others, there were reports issued by the WNBA that Clark, Ionescu, and Kayla McBride declined invites to participate.
Yeah. And Ionescu and McBride were both kind of like
lies.
Well, we got like a little bit of a text or something to our agent, but it wasn't really an invite. So
I think Sabrina's quote was literally like, I can't decline an invite I never received. And so I think again, it's a point to like a lack of communication and clarity around communication from the league and the players. I think
I said last week, I think it was probably like a text to the agent, like, are you interested?
Yeah.
Not, hey, you're invited.
Yes. Which feels different. That feels different.
Yeah, absolutely.
That frankly feels a little bit like, oh, you just want to use me.
Yeah.
You think that right? Versus like, you are somebody that would be good at this.
We want you here. Yeah.
I still like Sab obviously has done her thing in the 3-point shooting contest. We have yet to see Caitlin Clark participate in one, which seems a little bit strange given her 3-point shooting proficiency.
Great shooter,
frankly, this year I would have understood all three of these sitting this out, even if they had gotten invited and they officially declined, right? Ionescu is just kind of coming back from injury. Clark's been nursing the back injury thing, although then I'd say, like, why are you playing in the game? And then McBride has been playing a ton of minutes for the Lynx. And so I'm sure, I was thinking to myself, I was like, I'm sure Cheryl shut that shit down. Like, she was like, no, you can't do that. You need to go lay down somewhere. So anyway, it was fun. We had some great performances though. So Bridget Carlton in the first round, I think hit 29.
29
or 30.
She
just the basket looked huge to her, right? You could tell that Natisha Heidemann probably had been out a little too late the night before with that live stream.
There's a video of her seeing Cheryl somewhere and she's like, I'm not even hungover. I'm just tired because I'm not sleeping. It's like, you're hungover. You're hungover.
But then it got down. They do all 6 shoot and the top 2 advance to the final round. And so it was Azzi Fudd against Bridget Carlton, and Carlton went first. I think she went first, and Fudd went second. Fudd went off.
Yeah.
And I saw a quote from her afterwards that, like, when she had torn her ACL, she got really good at just jump shot 3-pointers.
Wow.
And you could tell, like, her rhythm was so smooth when she was doing that. It was so fun to watch. So love to see it. She ties Ionescu's performance from last year. Ionescu still has the super record, right, of 37 out of 40 total points, I think. She also did the whole comp with competition with Steph the one year, which was pretty cool. So for this, the winner takes $70K, which is up. I think it was up like 5 or 10,000 from last year. But the cool thing in my mind, second and third place last year, you got nothing.
Yeah.
This year, runner up 40K.
There you go.
Third place, 25K.
That'll help.
Right? All right, let's talk about the game.
Team Spoon won. I was right. I'm never going to doubt Cheryl.
Never pick against Cheryl. That's probably pretty fair.
Yeah. Clark did come out.
She came out super hot.
She wanted
to set
throwing
the tone.
Arms out, stealing balls.
Yeah. She was like, I'm out here to play. No one else got that memo.
Yeah. Everyone else like, I ain't playing.
I think my overall like summary of it was like, there were a few really cool highlights, like Clark coming out and hitting all like couple threes and things right off the bat, like kind of got the crowd into it, right? But then it started to get a little weird. We did get a Dom Malonga dunk. She becomes the 7th in history to do an All-Star game, which is cool. You could tell they were trying to set her up. You had Marina Mabry go off. Like, she's another one where if she can get hot, going,
she can get going.
I think she was like 5 of 6 from 3, like in the second quarter of that game or something. So, those were fun to watch. Let me make sure. Oh yeah. But overall, we were like, I don't know,
like
10
2
minutes.
That was like 2 minutes in.
2 minutes in. And I was like, this is dumb.
This is boring.
Like, this is kind of boring. Like, people are literally passing up layups. And I get it's an all-star game, but I was expecting at least like a little bit more like creative passing or a little bit more defense. Like, defense can be fun to watch. Yeah. And like fun steals and things like that. And I thought we'd see more like, let's get Dom to dunk 5 times in the game, or I don't, maybe that's too many, but it's just like a lot of jack and threes, and I don't know. Yeah,
it wasn't.
Now, to be fair, players look like they were having fun, and I think there's a debate to be had about like who's All-Star Weekend for. If I'm a fan watching, or I'm there and I paid money to be there, I don't know if just like watching the players have fun is like
and
what I came to see.
What did you say was like $300 to get in the door or something
like that?
The
the get in cost was like $343.
I want to pay $343 to watch no defense and jacking threes.
Yeah. And I think too, it's like there are very few times that you're going to get to see all of those players play, right? And they're mid-season, they got to rest, but like you don't need to go 100%. I think Caitlin Clark said this at halftime. She's walking off with Holly Rowe, right? And NECA. It's like, I don't need you guys to go 100%, but could we give like 60%? Like, yeah, I agree with you. Like, let's try a little harder. Do something. So, but again, it also is a networking weekend for the players. Yeah. And I put networking in quotes because they're partying a lot.
Yeah, networking.
And yeah, exactly. And so I wonder how much of it also is like they are just literally so hungover.
I think next year what we need is a hungover all-star team versus average Joes off the street. And specifically Joes to show how hungover women can still whoop their asses.
Oh, let's pitch it.
Let's do it.
Let's pitch it. Okay. One person I do want to call out, Jonquel Jones, the New York Liberty. She was named All-Star MVP. She had just like a lovely, so she apparently has like a lot of family stuff going on, like was pretty distracted. I didn't get the whole story of it, but just had a lovely post-game press conference kind of opening up about that, really giving respect to her college coach, the woman who kind of took her in when she came up, I think from the Bahamas, I think she's from. And Jonquel also made history as the first player ever to be regular season MVP, finals MVP, Commissioner's Cup MVP, and All-Star MVP. Yes. So big ups to JJ.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Doing her thing. So seems like lovely human. Couldn't go to a better person. So Alex, wrapping up on the game, Alex mentioned money to charity. Yeah. So both teams were playing for two different organizations in the Chicago area that help keep young girls involved in sports.
Yeah, like that.
Because it's important. And so the winning team got $70K to go to their charity that they were sponsoring, and the losing team got $30K. So still meaningful dollars for these kinds of organizations for both teams. But I think it was Kelsey Plum she didn't play because of her injury. But she said, like we got to put money on the line if you want these guys
for sure. Absolutely.
And I think I agree with KP. Yeah. So we could put money on the line, or we could play against the average Joes.
They might play less percent and still win. Like that's the women. I mean. Like just like
we'll see.
Jack some threes here.
That's right. All right. Wrapping up All-Star overall vibes. There were some.
Oh boy! Hope we weren't on Threads.
There were some funny things. There was a lot going on, but a couple of my favorites. So, Asia Wilson is hilarious.
Yeah,
I love her in a press conference. She's just like so real. Asia was asked, "What's your relationship with Commissioner Kathy Engelbert?" She said, quote, "My only relationship with Kathy is when she's handing me awards."
Oh my God. What was the other one? She was there.
I'm so sorry. I love it so much.
She was there with Olivia Miles, and she was like, "What year were you born?" She's like 2003. And I don't remember. She was like,
she goes,
oh.
Yeah. That's on camera now. Yeah. She's like, oh my God. Go look that one up too. I love seeing like the sisterhood of this group. Yeah. Like they genuinely all that we can see obviously seem to like really enjoy seeing one another, getting to let loose, like getting to have fun. It seems like they feel safe, the groups that, hang out with one another and whatnot. And that is a really important part of sport and participating in it. I also love the inspiration that these women are providing for that next generation. So we talked about Angel Reese and her Barbie. Mm-hmm. These charity organizations that the teams played for each girl in these organizations wrote a handwritten note to a player.
Oh, okay.
And I saw a video of like the players reading these notes, and these girls are just talking about like how, it's so cool to see, somebody who plays the same position as me or looks like me, or like, I want to be you when I grow up. And like, that really kind of was a reminder of what this is all like really about. Is how are you kind of setting that example for that next generation of girls to want to pursue these kinds of opportunities. And like, these women are fighting to open those doors. We've talked about the impact that the CBA that they just negotiated is going to have on like the players who are in college right now.
Yeah.
The players who came out this year. Right.
Yeah.
So I think that's really cool. Maybe it's a little messy.
It definitely is a little messy. The Stud Buds stream apparently was watched by some people the entire time on Threads, and it got down to like, this person was dating this person and they cheated on this person, but now these people are together. There was this whole like relationship diagram that was being brought about by the Stud Buds stream. This is social media stuff here. It got,
I think the moral or the way to think about that is like, these players are giving unprecedented access to their lives for a time being. And frankly, I think the women's side, we see it a lot more than the men's side. I would never want to judge them too harshly. I think if you saw a similar level of accessibility on the men's side, you would probably see some mess too.
Yeah.
Right. And so if the tea of the day is going to be relationship drama and it's not like domestic abuse charges.
Yeah. I just think it's interesting because I think it highlights what we've talked about in the past of like, there's a lot of new fans.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of new fans where this is what they're coming from is maybe not necessarily like a sports background, but more like a pop culture background.
Love Island
so things changed a little bit with the fan base.
That's a good point. So, we could debate, right, whether or not the players should be allowing that level of access. I think you mentioned like, it almost feels like the Stud Bud stream would have been better as just like a one-off. Like let that be a special thing that happened last year.
Like still maybe do it, but like maybe it's an edited like video that gets released like later or something.
That's helping, or PR people who are helping you out with that. Yeah.
And I love T. I love Court, but
yes, yeah, good time. The yawns are coming.
Yawns are coming. We have one more thing. There was last week.
Oh yes.
Players Association meeting with Kathy Engelbert. Going through.
How did it go?
Well, it was a video conference. I thought it was going to be in person, but it was on Tuesday. There were still games happening.
So many games.
They're going to talk about a lot of things, but specifically, like we talked about the racist and threatening messages that players are getting on social media. The quote we have from a joint statement from them was, Tuesday's conversation underscored the importance of addressing issues early through proactive communication and strengthening the league-union relationship. The league committed to continuing to enhance security resources and will work with the players' union to explore collaborations with organizations that share the values of our league and advance our shared priorities. Yesterday's discussion marked the beginning of an ongoing dialogue, and we are united in our commitment to building on this work together.
The beginning?
And I'm also kind of like,
this has been going on for a couple years now.
Like I'll see it when I believe it.
Oh,
and
man.
Also, you're just now addressing issues early through proactive communication.
Yeah, that's what I'm like. It's I'm glad they talked.
Going to a little bit more. Just today, there was some swirling about Kathy Engelbert might be potentially on the way out at the end of this year.
Well.
And so, this may be one of those too little, too late type of things. At least they're doing something about it, but it should have happened quicker, probably.
Yeah. Again, I think we talked about this in our episode last week. Like, I just don't know that she's the right leader, or we're asking for something from that role that isn't in her skill set necessarily for the moment that the league is in, right? She was pivotal in what has happened with the business building that happened, right? Since she was hired. I would never like take that credit of developing that strategy and being able to execute on it away from her. At the same time, like there were probably some foreseeable things related to this issue now that frankly should have been addressed sooner. I mean, to say that now is the beginning of a conversation when this has literally been a problem since in a big way, I think since 2024, like that's not okay.
Yeah, for sure.
That's a bummer. Okay.
Games start up Tuesday night. So tomorrow, you're listening to this. It would have been last night.
Your last night.
You want to take us through maybe the top?
Yeah, I mean,
top 8. I think that's interesting.
Our top 8 have not changed. For a few weeks now. They shift around a little bit in there, but they really haven't moved. And frankly, there's starting to be some separation between number 8 and the rest of the group. So we'll talk a little bit about that. So going in order right now, you've got the Minnesota Lynx up top. They're 2.5 games ahead of the Golden State Valkyries. Then follows the Las Vegas Aces, the Dallas Wings, the Indiana Fever, who went on a little bit of a surge there before All-Star break, the Atlanta Dream, the New York Liberty, and the Washington Mystics. You were like waiting.
I was like watching you.
The Washington Mystics. And the Mystics right now are 7 games back of the Lynx. So, I mean, in basketball, that's doable, not a big spread, right? But they're 3.5 games ahead of Portland, which is the next closest team to them. And then that spread just starts to get, it's still kind of tight in that middle group, right? We've been talking about Portland, Toronto, and the Sparks. But to me, this next couple of weeks for those 3 teams, if they want a chance of unseating the Mystics, they need some things to fall in their favor.
I've been really impressed with Washington.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, we've talked about this a couple times, but like a lot of really young talent. They also seem to be, the beginning of the season, they didn't really have what I thought was like a clear identity. Yeah. They do now. Yeah. It's called rebounding. It's called being physical, like getting bodies on players on defense. And then it's basically, can we feed Kiki Ariafan and Sonia Citron, right?
Don't forget locker room antics.
And locker room
Have you seen some of the stuff they do in there? Yeah.
They look like they're having a great time,
they do.
Right? And they're one of those teams like we're watching and we're like, they're going to be really good next year, the year after, like for a while, right? That same thing with Seattle, same thing I think with Connecticut Sun to a degree. Yeah. Who are all kind of sitting at the bottom right now. One bummer thing I do want to note, I saw over the weekend that Portland announced that Sarah Ashley Barker, who just kind of like an energizer off the bench for them, often can come in and hit a bunch of threes. She underwent an MRI in her knee and has torn her ACL.
Jeez.
And I actually think that is pretty critical I think she is a critical piece for them for pursuing really the postseason.
Yeah, for sure.
We'll wrap this section up by saying we are going to a game with our girls over the weekend. The Minnesota Lynx are hosting the Indiana Fever. This is literally the only game we could make it to our schedule. We were like, okay, we got to make it work with the kids. So we are very excited for that. I cannot wait to see Nafisa Collier back on the court.
It's going to be great.
Maybe. I don't even think that we have given due appreciation to the fact that Fee is back. Does the league even understand?
It doesn't feel real yet almost, right?
Right, because it was one game and we couldn't watch it.
This will be the second game in 2 years we'll have gone where the Fever are in town. Will we see Caitlin Clark play or not?
It is very possible that she is suspended because of technical fouls.
Oh, no.
She's one tech away from the suspension. We'll see what happens. her and Stephanie White are having strategic conversations about it, reportedly.
All right. Well, let's move it on here. Let's look at what to watch. WNBA Friday, we've got the Dallas Wings versus the Washington Mystics, 6:30 p.m. on Ion. Saturday,
That's a trap game, I just want to say, for the Wings.
Saturday, Las Vegas Aces versus Chicago Sky, noon on CBS and Paramount Plus. I honestly put this, I think Las Vegas wins, but Chicago has been so close so many times.
Chicago is often up in the fourth quarter. I love Sydney Taylor.
Yeah.
She's playing lights out for an undrafted rookie over there, but they can never close the game.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll do it this time. We would appreciate it, Chicago.
And then, of course, Sunday, Indiana Fever versus Minnesota Lynx, noon on ABC. Look for us.
That might be a top of the West, top of the East matchup. Because the Fever right now are on top of the East if they can maintain that going into Sunday.
All right. NWSL Friday night, just one game. North Carolina Courage versus Orlando Pride, 7 p.m. on Prime.
That's a playoff battle right there. Kind of that grouping.
Saturday, Kansas City versus Angel City, 5:30 p.m. on Ion.
Nice.
And we try to pick one game usually per day. This was too good. Sunday, Washington Spirit versus San Diego Wave, 3 p.m. on CBS Sports. Utah Royals versus Portland Thorns, 6 p.m. on Victory Plus. And Denver Summit versus Boston Legacy, 8 p.m. on ESPN. Watch them all.
So we're going to get home from the Lynx game and just turn it on NWSL.
Pass out.
Pass out.
We'll pass out. The kids will still be fine.
No kidding.
They'll pass out in the car. LPGA, we have the AIG Women's Open Thursday and Friday on USA, Saturday and Sunday on NBC. Women's Elite Rugby is off this week. Next Saturday, the 8th, I believe, the Denver Onyx play the Bay Breakers in the championship.
The
TC Gemini just could not pull out a win the other night and give themselves a chance. So
close.
Momentum and setbacks.
Oof. Oh no, I wasn't ready for this.
I was.
Okay, you go first.
I mean, setbacks, anything the Heritage Foundation puts out around women's sports and our legislatures. Oh yeah, I could just say that the Heritage Foundation, they're a real setback to progress in this nation.
Yeah. Yeah, I think just in like doing more of the research that we did on that segment in particular, I think I would piggyback and expand my setback to being like, just this attitude of exclusion is such a sad thing. I think of the event I described in my favorite things, and where like leaning in with curiosity, really getting to know people and understand where they're coming from, and how that like just opens up opportunity to connect and create community. And when things like this happen, when attacks on a group of people happen, like you said, it doesn't take long for that to expand and to create this otherizing that is really, really harmful. And that's just, I hate that.
Yeah. Same.
Momentum.
I like seeing Azzi win the 3-point contest. I mean, she's been having a great season now. She had kind of the
really grown into the season.
She kind of the slow start because she wasn't starting, but then she's kind of grown into it, and I think it was fun watching her win that. I also find it really fun to watch her in general. No offense, Azzi, but like sometimes you look like you don't know what's going on, and I love it because I think it's because that's how I would be like. Where do I look right now? Who do I talk to?
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, when they were like trying to corral her after she won, she's like, I'm not sure. It's kind of cute. I was just thinking, I was like, I think I just gave my momentum away, but like Fee's back.
Yeah,
so
you really
the Lynx. Let's hope. I mean, right? I think there's been some questions as we've awaited her return of like, how is she going to come back? Right. Like, how will she look individually? And then like, how does that dynamic on the team shift?
Yeah.
Right. I think we saw in her first game back, like, I think Liv produced like a little bit more points, but like, that's okay. Right. She inevitably, like, what she should provide is a lightening of the scoring burden for everybody, right? So you don't need Natasha Howard to show up big every night, which is what it felt like for the first half. You don't need Kayla McBride to be putting up 30 points, right?
And if she's not scoring, she's at least pulling defense away. And
her gravity is huge. She also we forget, like, she is a two-way player. She plays great defense. And now you've got a Nia Coffey coming off the bench. Like, create some depth for them, which they, like, desperately needed.
Really needed it.
So anyways, in Cheryl we trust, and go Lynx. Those Lynx.
All right. Instagram, Threads, YouTube, RTG_pod, rtgpod.com, Substack at Raising the Game Podcast. And you can email us, raisingthegamepod@gmail.com.
Share, like, subscribe, comment. We love it all.
Yeah.
Appreciate y'all being here today.
Bye.
Bye.